Very posh with your coffee there, sir.
Hurry up. Alright, good to go.
Hey guys, welcome to weekly wrap number 12. So 3 months now we've been doing this, and having a ball doing it as well, learning a lot along the way, and it's just nice to be able to share our journey, especially as we start our road to Vegas from this week, which is pretty cool. So today we've got just a couple topics to touch on. Adam's going to touch on adversity and we'll bounce off each other with that. I'm going to touch on just a study that I found this week from The Biggest Loser, and then I'll just touch on my diet as well. So first of all, how's your week, mate?
This week, like, it's 5 days in official prep, and we only just spoke about this before. We always say, like, fuck, training stepped up a notch, and as compared to 6 months ago, but honestly my body hasn't felt this wrecked, in a good way of course, and for some sick reason I love it. And just really, I think just following a structured game plan as well, and just knowing that it's all begun. It's a different sort of mentality, and obviously having the boys around, new gym, great vibe. It's hard not to just step it up a notch, but oh my God, training this last 5 days. I've never looked forward to a day off tomorrow so much ever. Normally it's very, very difficult for us to try and have days off because we don't feel like we've earned it, but definitely we've warranted that side. Food has been, I'm talking to the gram source, like everything is accounted for, all my macros, like I'm all or nothing. I believe that if I'm going to jump up there in 26 weeks time, I can't face it knowing that I could have done any better. I'm going to be the best version of myself up there and let everything else take care of itself, but it's a very, very important journey for myself, and obviously having the support circles that I do, I'm unbelievably fortunate. So food has just been, I'd say, 9.99 out of 10. There's always room for improvement as far as that, and obviously Jake will say the same. Like training has been probably the most intense that I've experienced for quite a while, and just change up in exercises, volume, poundages. You got no choice, it's just shut up and do it. So a double thumbs up for especially this last week. It has been hardcore, a different sort of mentality, but I'm really enjoying it, and I just love it. I love just getting hammered. I don't know, it was like this morning, I think a lot of people will be nursing a pretty hardcore hangover. Obviously, there's a lot of our friends that are out on a Thursday night, but I think Jake and I were asleep by about 8:30, 9 o'clock, and up and awake at quarter past 4 in the morning. So it's just part of what we do.
Yeah, that's it.
What about you, buddy?
Yeah, same here. Food's been on point. Obviously, making sure I get enough nutrients to recover us from our huge workouts. So that's been huge for me. I was gonna just sort of go through what I'm eating each day and go through what I think about when I put this together as well. Because I am flexible dieting, but I try to, especially now, stick to just one sort of meal plan and then tweak it on weekends if I need to make it a bit more flexible.
One thing there, guys, just to clear it up, when people are saying flexible dieting, it's basically where you're tracking your proteins, fats and carbohydrates, and people think Pop-Tarts and all sorts of things, but again, not until your calories are high can you sort of really shift things in like that. But when Jake's talking flexible dieting, for those out there who are just tuning in, it's basically keeping track of your proteins, your fats and your carbs. So
yeah, that's it. So through the week when I'm super busy, I just stick to one thing at the moment, and then if I want to do grilled or something, then I'll go back to this date that I put in my fitness pal, March 27th, and just tweak a couple of meals. That's what's going to work for me, I think, when I'm so busy. So I get up, train, and then I'm finished at 7. I train on an empty stomach, just have pre-workout, and then it's really important that I'm having aminos during my workout. Blunt cortisol levels from spiking up too much, and then straight after I'll come home and I'll have a shake with a fast release protein or whey protein from TSN. So it's a nice fast absorbing protein to get in there and start repairing straight away. I'll have that with, I've chosen my carb sources to be sort of a quick release energy source to get in there and do the same thing as the fast release protein. So banana, I'll do 100 grams of berries, and then after that I'll go and have an omelette with it's about 8 egg whites, but I just use the carton eggs.
Yep.
With hummus on my toast, and then that's pretty much meal one of my shake together. And then I've chosen different carb sources like your fast release fruits and stuff around that time, just so it can all be absorbed rapidly straight away after my training session. And then we go to meal 2 and 3 are the same, so I just have chicken and rice pretty much with chili, hummus, and either asparagus, broccolini, fry up or grill some capsicum and stuff and put all that in there, so that's really yum as well. So them 2 meals are the same. And then for dinner I'm doing kangabanger wraps at the moment, with avocado and chili.
Yeah.
And then my last meal of the day, now this is also to fuel my morning's workout as well, so it's quite high carb, and it helps me sleep a lot better as well, having the carbs just before bed. But yeah, I'm having 8 Wheat Bix and peanut butter, and then a slow release protein. So it acts as a drip feed in my system overnight while I'm sleeping. And then that's worked really well for me lately, being on such high food that when I wake up, that energy's ready to go, and I don't have to eat in the morning, so I get a bit more sleep as well. But that's what's worked for me lately. I know, Adam, you've started to get up earlier and eat because your food's dropping now.
Yeah, and I think too, for you guys listening, is the whole bro science, no carbs after 4 and all these things. Like, the best shape that we've ever been in, the best gains we've ever got, and holding as minimal body fat was when we're just spacing nutrients out through the day. And some of my biggest meals have always been around dinner time, and carb wise as well. 1, it helps you sleep like Jake said, but 2, it's replenishing all your muscle stores so that you've got some energy, especially when you're training in the morning. So from what people say with their bodies and no carbs after 4, that's like saying your body goes, oh sorry, it's just past 4 o'clock, we can't store any of your carbs or your nutrients anymore. It just doesn't work that way. It's just, again, the bag of BS, that one can definitely go in there. Again, it's a bit different if you come home, you haven't eaten all day and you haven't trained, and you eat a huge bowl of pasta and everything else. I mean, look, there's things within reason.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing too is, like Jake said, is that people think that flexible dieting is just a way of getting away with eating crap all the time. I mean, our food is high, but we still eat pretty what they call bro, as in, just clean foods. But the other thing too is we make it taste. There's plenty other ways you can get creative with taste, but in the end of the day too, when you're busy, you want to sort of keep and monitor and track your macros. Whereas if you get too much variancy and start eating biscuits and cheese and going, oh my God, I can get that chicken nugget in there. And there's too much room for error. And the other thing too is sometimes food's entered in incorrectly in the MyFitnessPal plan, which some of our mentor clients have experienced that as well, and pulling them back for going to keep it simple. But flexible dieting, like Jake's explained on what he does, it allows you to understand that if you don't want rice one day and you want sweet potato, it helps you understand how much sweet potato is in transition with rice. If you don't want chicken and you want beef one time, if you don't want beef and you want pork, it allows you flexibility so that you can have longevity with your dieting approach. In the end of the day, you've got to take on an approach that you can utilize and adopt for the rest of your life. This is something that Jake and I have believe very strongly in. Why? Is because it's worked for both of us the best out of anything that we've ever adopted as far as a dieting approach, and we've tried everything, and it's just easy. And the thing too is it's always overwhelming initially with the whole flexible dieting and the macro side, but you give it a good 7 days, and that's what I say to a lot of people that we deal with, is that just use this first 7 days to get your head around it and try and hit your numbers as close as you can. Use some different variances with your food. But the best thing is technology allows us to scan foods in and track things very, very easy. Save
your meals and stuff so you can add them easy.
Yeah, and we got some videos on the YouTube channel that it's like MyFitnessPal Made Easy. We've made a few videos of it, and it just makes life so much easier, which then goes on to our next subject, which Jake and I have talked talk to many of our mentor clients about, and family, friends, everyone who's on the health and fitness bandwagon, is that how many times have you heard this, oh, you know, but I'm eating all the right foods.
Yeah.
But nothing's happening. Now, you can eat good quality protein sources, carb sources, fat sources. You can eat and make all the right choices, but if you don't actually know how much of that you're eating, you've got to understand a calorie is still a calorie. And this is where your fats can be blown out of proportion as far as carbs, or the other thing is the inconsistency of, you might be way over your intake that you should be having, way under the next day, and there's there's that consistent inconsistency, and you don't know. Like, knowing exactly to the gram as far as what your intake is as compared to, I think you're way off, because one, I'll speak from experience here, is that before I was eating all the right foods. This was a good couple, I was up near IMBA, good 2.5 years ago, I'd say, where I needed, there was a good 10 kilos I needed to lose, and I was eating all the right foods, but I wasn't tracking. And the moment I put myself on the calorie tracking app, in this case we use MyFitnessPal, I dropped 11 kilos. And that was just tracking my foods and keeping within my numbers. And that I think since that day, 2.5, 3 years ago, I'd never look back, because people say you don't need to count calories and everything like that. Well, if it's not working for you, you've got to change your game plan. And that there, for me, my approach was not working for me, regardless of how well I was eating. I was so far off my numbers. I was so far off, and I've obviously been in the industry and involved for a very long time. So, yeah. Any other thoughts on?
My biggest question that I'm asked is this healthy? Like food choices or whatever, because I've like friends that want to lose weight and they say, is this meal healthy? Well, I go, it is, but like, what are you eating throughout the day? We need to know how many calories you need to eat to be able to hit them goals. Like, you can eat healthy, but if your calories are way over, then you can put on weight quite easily.
And it doesn't matter if it's clean foods.
Yeah, you're still going over your calories.
Yeah.
When I try and answer that question, then you need to sit down with them and go, okay, what are your goals, and are you training? And then we look at what they're eating at the moment and where they've been, their diet history. There's so much to it than just answering, yes, that's healthy sort of thing for them, or for them to meet their goals anyway.
And I think too, guys, the more you read and the more conflicting information out there, everyone's got an opinion, and it's just, it's so difficult. Like, we're dealing with people that have been involved or around the industry for a very long time, even PTs as well that we mentor, and they are so confused. And, you know, obviously from us, I think a lot of our mistakes and stuff ups along the way has really helped us sort of fast forward our ability to be able to take on pretty much any scenario that we're dealt with, and teach and educate them about it, because unfortunately there is all the information out there, but it's a matter of finding it, or finding the right diet coach or someone out there that's willing to nurture and mentor and educate you. So you know, it's the same thing as well. This is probably a really good one, is that I could, and you know, being very heavily involved within the dietary supplement industry is just grab, because I've just started using fat burners now, grab that and start promoting it and just go, these are what I've, you know, but it's taken 2 years to set my body up metabolically, and it's responded well from the calorie drop. Is a fat burner going to be the thing that's, you know, going to be the be all and end all? Absolutely not. It's something that will just help that extra 10 to 15%, but everything else has been tracked and monitored and adjusted accordingly and consistent, that something like that I only use as just a little bit more of assistance out there. And unfortunately people are led to believe, oh, they take this new latest and greatest thing with this person with shredded abs on the front, and I eat clean, and it's all going to work for me. Well, if that were the case, every single person in every single household would be walking around that's got a fat burner in there with abs. Yeah. So it's just, I won't go on too much with my rant with that, but
it gets pretty confusing though. There's just so much info out there. It's ridiculous. So my thoughts are to try and get people to hit their macros according to their goals, and then from there we can have a look at what they're doing up for themselves, and then start to tweak and pick better food sources and show them the difference between low GI at this time of the day, between high GI source before training, and your different releases in proteins and stuff like that. And then you can look at micronutrients after that as well, but that base is hitting macros,
Yeah.
and then just tweaking from there and educating further.
Yeah, keep it simple from day dot, and teach them. Yeah, obviously, because what happens as well is if Jake and I were to give you guys just a generalised food plan, what are you going to learn from it?
Yeah.
Whereas we send them off on purpose, and they go, oh my God, how do I get it? And we get all the questions. They're like, keep shopping, keep looking. We put it back on them so that they actually come back and learn that. Oh, geez, pork chops, Brad Longfield. Pork chops aren't exactly the best lean meat option as well. So it's I think the flexible dieting approach, hands down, I will adopt it. And again, hey, so things might change and programs might change, but it's definitely the backbone of what we believe in very strongly as well.
Yeah.
And which I think is very interesting as far as Jake's been doing a bit of research on a few articles that you come across.
Yeah.
So let's touch on that side, because this also piggybacks that quick fix diets don't work, and you've got to adopt, like we said before, you've got to adopt an approach that you can sustain and utilize within your lifestyle for the rest of your life. That's there is no quick fix, because the problem is that when that happens, it's not sustainable and people go off the wagon, or they've got an event that they've planned for, and it all hits the fan. So
this is just a Biggest Loser study that I found, and it's basically 30 weeks that they do this Biggest Loser period, and on average they start on 49% body fat, and when they finish, on average across the board, they're 23% in body fat. So that's awesome. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's huge.
And then this study was done over 6 years, and they've all seen PTs and stayed healthy and all this, but because of that extreme diet period, it's just ruined their metabolism, where they started at 2200 calorie on average baseline, and then when they finished, they're at a 1100 calorie baseline. So that basically means that anything over 1100, they're going to start putting on weight. So there's no room for error, really. They're on such low food coming off of it. And over a 6-year period, their metabolism still hasn't recovered from that extreme diet phase. And they've ended back up to 45%, so 2% less body fat on average than when they first started, because it was just too extreme in a short period of time, pretty much. So I thought that was pretty crazy, and it just backs up that we're doing everything right here with our clients, taking things slow, proper education, focusing on metabolism and health as priorities over weight loss, and just crazy results.
Yeah.
So I think we've got things.
Yeah, I like that there. That was another one, and I wasn't surprised when I heard it when Jake sent me the article through. Is we're dealing with a lot of men and women, and a lot of women especially, that have been low calorie dieting for a very long period of time, or crash dieting, or calorie restrict binge, and for these women, the hardest thing is not to rip the weight off them, is to set their bodies up to then be in the position to diet.
Yeah.
And I've got a few amazing case studies that Jake and I have dealt with over, I'd say a short period of time, a 4 to 6 month period, where women have come to us at around 1,000 to 1,200 calories, and we've got them nearly double now, and set them up where their bodies are ready to diet, and they're not going to have a huge metabolic rebound. Because at the end of the day, a lot of people who would deal with a client coming to them already on low calories and training on a regular basis, what would they do? Increase their exercise and drop their calories further. That is, when you're getting that low on calories and that much exercise, you're in a critical area where coming out of that and the rebound effects are going to be quite significant. So. And it's something we're really passionate about and starting to understand to a whole new level as coaches as well. And it's very fascinating when you're dealing with people that are very experienced within the industry, that have been training for a long period of time, and are basically just plateaued tenfold, and you get all this data through, and it's the same sort of thing. You've got to repair their metabolism. It's not damaged as such, as far as you're never going to get results again, but it's just, you've got to take the time and be a bit patient.
Work on and fix before you start dieting. That's why the 12-week challenges, you go into it, they drop your food, increase your exercise, 12 weeks there you'll get results. And then after what? So it's just...
I think, That was a huge thing, and you'll see there's similar subjects that have come up. Why? Is because it's 95% of you.
Yeah.
Is that there's the challenge, and they're setting up a habitual lifestyle and routine and making it a habit and being a part of what you do on a weekly basis, and developing that program over that 8 to 12 week period, which it's crucial too. And you've got a good community, you've got motivation, you're seeing results, but you've also got to understand the most critical time in that whole period is when that challenge finishes. And that is where too many people make the biggest mistake, because their metabolisms have slowed down dramatically and their bodies are fat. It's primed for fat storage if there's a huge influx of calories. And they've also got to understand that slowly over time we've got to basically bring calories back up, refire their metabolism, balance them on a hormonal level, help with their sleep patterns, and just get their body running in a way where, you won't, just because you're putting calories up, a lot of people end up losing weight again. But you've just got to set yourself up so that when you're ready for another drop again, it's going to be safe and you're not going to binge or have any potential of a blowout and being on such low calories. So there's a structured game plan with it, but unfortunately people in this day and age just want everything yesterday. And what things are portrayed on social media, I think has a big effect on people's ability to read in between the lines with these people that are portraying, that are selling these quick fix programs or diets, because unfortunately there is a lot more to it. I mean, it's not difficult, but people are led to believe that their problems are going to be fixed in an 8 to 12 week period. So
you're a perfect example for that. Though setting yourself up to diet now, what we're on, close to 600 carbs or something? Yeah,
625 including fibre, roughly around there, about that. And I was still walking around with abs, and I just and I maintained those calories for about a good 6 weeks as well once I got up there. And I think that was my threshold point, but my body was 110% ready to run.
And now you've had a small drop this week, and what's happened to you?
We had a laugh about this on, I think it was Sunday when we filmed last, was that my calories got dropped to 4,000 calories. And it's good too, because we always talk about that deck of cards or the tools in the tool belt. I've got every card to play with now. I've got all the tools in the tool belt to use. I'm not doing any cardio. We're training hard with weights. My food's high. You can see the whole structure that gets put in place. And obviously my rebound effect or anything like that's going to be very, very minimal, because I'm actually going to reverse diet into the show as well if I end up peaking early. And I could have easily done the whole 200 carbs for a whole year thing again, and it would have got me absolutely nowhere. I remember because I was binging every weekend and pulling my food back, binging every weekend, and I would be about 7 kilos heavier than what I am now, and my body fat was much higher on half or a third of the food that I'm on now. So it's becoming more and more apparent, because we obviously use ourselves as guinea pigs. And welcome back after a bit of intermission. Normally, guys, you got to understand through this, we've got ideas in our head as far as what we face over a 7-day period. There's so much that happens, and and we just
let it out.
Let it all out. And this is we actually never had to do a second take. So what you see is our first go at it, and that's where we're actually planning with the weekly wraps, just to do them live, because it's just. It rolls through. The problem is the camera settings only goes to about 20-something minutes, so when we start gas bagging too much, it ends up cutting out. So that's probably why you see that little edited clip there. But I couldn't go this weekly wrap without talking about a big topic that we've already covered with a lot of our mentees, or the people that are under our wing in Walk the Talk Legacy, as far as dealing with adversity. And this is huge, because this is where the repetitive patterns of a lot of people that have been doing the same thing week in, week out, month in, month out, year in, year out, and just 2 steps forward, 2 steps back, 2 steps forward, 2 steps back. There's always going to be curveballs that are thrown at you. There's always going to be bumps in the road. There's always going to be something that's going to, plain and simple, it's not all unicorns and rainbows. if Jake and I were to sit here and tell you guys that your journey to the better you, where you want to be both physically and mentally, is going to be an easy journey, I would be absolutely lying through my teeth, because the journey that we've faced over this past few years together, and we've been so fortunate to have, us in such a great community, but we've built that. We've built that around the people that are there to support us, pick us up through the times where we're flat and tired or doubting ourselves, and run with it. But it has been a very challenging journey, but through those challenges and through dealing with adversity, it has made us such better people, both when it comes to dealing with our health and fitness, mentality, to life, to business. I think we adopt so many of these approaches as far as mental toughness, or having to be very direct with friends and family as far as what journey you're on, because I'll guarantee that 99% of the people that are in your community now, when you're willing to make that change and go down the health and fitness side of things and change your habits and change the certain routines that have been habitual in your life for many years, people don't like change, or they're not used to change, they're not used to adjusting to it, and you get a lot of minor conflict, especially with friends and family, and I think the biggest thing that Jake and I turn to each other on many occasions is going, wow, like, you don't realise how much food and alcohol is involved in so many social occasions. Yeah. And you then start to realise like who your real true core friends are. When food and alcohol gets taken out of the equation, your whole circles change a lot. But it's not saying that I call it hermetization, where you just totally isolate yourself. It just means obviously you've got to, when you're going out, you're having a lot different choices, and Pepsi Max and ice or whatever it may be, to people still think you're drinking. But
yeah, even if you're with the group, so if we go out with Paulie and Jared and Leon, we have a Pepsi and still have a good time.
Yep, absolutely. You don't have to get wasted and eat shit food to have a good time, hands down. And going back to the whole adversity side, people aren't going to get it. They're not going to understand your journey. They're going to twist your arm, or one more beer, or why don't you come out here, or why are you doing this for? And in the end of the day, you've always got to pull it back and think of why you first started. What puts you back on this journey? And if you're going to throw in the towel, how are you going to feel in another 6 months' time, when if you stuck at it, you would have got through those barriers and dealt with those difficult situations and scenarios, whether it be family, whether it be friends and acquaintances. And in the end of the day, if you're not willing to persist and make change and create habit and make it part of your lifestyle, you're going to be doing, we're going to be having the same conversation in 12, 18 months. I repeat this sentence again, being successful in no matter what you do, it's doing the things that need to be done even when you don't feel like doing it, dealing with adversity and making change and being consistent with it. And if it was easy, if this whole health and fitness thing was easy and getting the ideal body you want, why is everyone having so much difficulties with it? And why are we having such a sharp increase in the averages of people being obese in Australia, yet we've got so much more information out there, we've got so many more great facilities out there, and we're still left dealing with this issue as far as the obesity epidemic, or people not struggling to make the health and fitness change they need to. And no matter what journey you're on, whether it be a lean muscle gain program, whether it be general health, whether it be fat loss, whether it be comp, you guys are going to be faced with many obstacles and hurdles and curveballs along the way, which you're going to have to face, you're going to have to be strong, you're going to have to deal with. But in the end of the day, and I always go back to the analogy of the rocket, is that there is so much force and so much effort and so much fuel and so much change in an instant that needs to be made before you get that off the ground. But once you build that momentum, guys, it's easy, it's effortless. And that's when, after a period of time of 6, 9, 12 months, that's when those people there that are trying to twist your arm, or that are putting you down, or not in any way, shape or form understanding the journey you're on, they're the people that are going to be turning around asking you for advice, asking you how you did it. and asking you for guidance and support as well. And this is where it's not your opportunity to then throw it in their face. It's your opportunity to sit them down and not sugarcoat it and tell them exactly how it was done and how much hard work that you busted your backside to get you to where you want to be. And I could not be more proud of the people around me that have been able to deal with adversity, stick to their guns, stick to their game plan, and in the end of the day, you do the work, the results will come, hands down. And as I said, like, it is not going to be an easy journey. And if you hear people say that, they're lying. Everyone will deal with different, battles along the way, but if you stick at it, and it just comes down to how bad you want it and what you're willing to do to sacrifice it. Instant versus delayed gratification. I repeat this again, and I'm such a big believer in it. Instant gratification is going out, getting smashed with your friends, eating pizzas, having a good time for 8 hours. Or delayed gratification is sacrificing those few little things, making better choices, but in 6, 12, 18 months' time, knowing that you're driving as in your body a Rolls Royce or a Ferrari, feeling so good about yourself, the energy and the vibe that you portray, and knowing that you've got calories to work with, that you can sit there and manipulate your calories. You can have your pizzas and your beers, and guess what? You don't have to deal with weight fluctuation. And those people out there that were putting you down because they don't feel good within themselves, they're the ones that are turning around asking you for the advice and support, because you're a walking billboard. I don't think I could have summed that up any better. And
really well said.
You guys have just got to understand that that's stuff you're going to face, and obviously building a network and finding people that are sort of on that same journey, or encouraging some friends to do it with you. It'll definitely make it an easier process, because I do feel for those people who don't have any support whatsoever, and it's quite common, but stick at it, do the work, and the results will come, and the rewards, honestly, no money can buy that.
Yeah.
So, anything to...
No, not really. Well, the only thing to really help, like, obviously adversity is going to come, and then the only things you can really do is try and create environments to make it a little bit easier, take the edge off, which is a group of friends, like you said. Whoever's at home with you needs to they have to join and be a part, especially if it's your partner.
Yeah.
That's huge. You can't be having different meals and they'll be going, why are you trying to do this? And I'm not going to do that. So you got to get everyone involved around you, and that makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
I think it needs to be done.
Yeah. And I think too, Jake hit the nail on the head. The impact of the ripple effect through Jake's journey that he's had on his friends and family has been phenomenal. I mean, it's been really good to sit back to see how much of a positive influence Jake has been on his community around him. And it's just such a great ripple effect, especially when people are open to it. But obviously through Jake's dealing with his bumps in the road and adversity along the way, he's now a walking billboard where his family and friends are open and going, well, I'm ready to listen now, because they've seen his journey and the hard sacrifices initially that he's had to make. But Jake and myself, out of anyone through when we're not dieting, etc., we definitely don't miss out at all as far as social events and occasions, but we've earned that right.
Yep,
and we've got one hell of a story to tell if anyone sits down with us and has a chat. And I don't regret any of the decisions along the way, and I think it's made us who we are today. And as we said, we can use this knowledge and education to be able to pass on to you guys and help you understand the whole journey and the process a lot more. Because if this isn't right and you're not ready, or you don't understand what's about to happen, it makes it very, very difficult for everything else as well. So it's the whole package. It's not just a miracle fat burner. Yeah. It's not just a miracle diet plan. It's not just an amazing U-Butte 12-minute workout or the Ab King workout or whatever it may be. It's a combination of everything together and understanding how it's put together based on each individual.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Well said. All right, coming into week 2 of Road to Vegas. Pretty pumped for that.
Yeah.
So what's the plans for next week? Any carb drops or anything?
That'll all determine on my measurements and check-ins on Wednesdays. So guys, we're going to sort of start slowly. Jake's got to actually do some progress pics of me in a minute. But yeah, we're going to just touch on what we're doing here, because Jake's with me all the way. So we're looking forward to sort of showing you what results we get along the way. And I think the difference now being in prep as to not, it's just the attention to detail with the little 1%ers, just all those little things combined, because it adds up over a day, 7 days, a fortnight, a month, a year, or six months, sorry, that's where the prep is. So I think the training's going to get only harder again, and we'll probably sit here next week saying it's never been as hard. Yeah. Food drops will be determined based on how my body's being affected each week on my measurements. And the other thing too is that I've still got all the tools with cardio and HIIT, which I haven't touched yet. Fingers crossed it doesn't come in too quickly, because as you guys would know, Jake and I aren't really all that keen. No, so I'd rather train hard. Yeah, so that side's going to be really cool, because it just allows you guys to see what is uncovered in a 6 month period of just pure dedication and blood, sweat and tears. So
see what we can do.
Excellent.
Awesome.
I hope you guys enjoyed. This is the 12th episode, 3 months in a row. This has been something it's been tough to sort of stick at it with, Jake's got 1,000 different things going on as well within his life, and there's been plenty of transitional changes at the moment with what we're doing as a core and Walk the Talk legacy. So we're pretty proud to be delivering 12 episodes in a row, and looking forward to many, many more.
Yep, absolutely. Thanks guys, have an awesome weekend. Stay safe, and we'll speak to you next week.
And stay away from those bunnies.
And Asahis.
Asahis.